Pilates is named after a man named Joseph Pilates, who was born in Germany in the late 1800s. As a young man, or as a child, he was sickly. He had asthma and rickets and some other things, so he dedicated his life to physical fitness and making his body stronger. He moved to England I think in his 20s, around 1912. While he was there, he worked as a circus performer and a wrestler, and he trained policemen in Scotland Yard in self-defense. But then during World War I, he was put into an internment camp along with other German citizens. There, he worked with his fellow internees, especially the ones who were in the sick bay, who had been injured or were ill, helping them to regain their strength. Up until then, he had done, I think, mostly mat-type exercises. But there, he started to use what he had at hand, like the bed springs and some of the barrel rings and things like that, some of the things that created the reformer and some of the other machinery and some of the props that we used. After the war, he moved back to Germany, and his reputation preceded him, and he was more in demand as a trainer, what we would call today is a trainer. But then when he was pressured by the German government to start working with their military, he decided to leave, and in 1925 he immigrated to the United States. He settled in Soho in New York City, and in the building that he was in were dance studios. They had rehearsal space there, and they started to send their ballerinas who had been injured to him for rehabilitation. And they had so much success, they started to send their dancers to him for injury prevention and to build strength. At the time that Joseph was practicing, he called it controlology. It wasn't named Pilates until after his death, and he called it that because he believed that your mind can control your body, the way your body moves, and your mind should control your body. You should understand how your body moves. It shouldn't be momentum, it shouldn't be happenstance, it should all be controlled. I teach a style of Pilates called STOTT Pilates. It was started by a woman named Moira Stott Merrithew. In the mid-'80s, she was a dancer in Toronto. She had a career-ending injury. She went to New York and she studied with Romano, that had originally studied with Joseph. And she went back to Toronto after a few years, and she opened her own studio. Then she started to work with exercise physiologists and some physical therapists, and she started to study anatomy and exercise science. And she started to adapt. So today, STOTT Pilates continues to be adapted and changed the way we teach, what we teach, based on research into exercise science, body mechanics, injury prevention, and rehabilitation. And that's how it all came about.